morning. My name is Radiant Gaines, and I'm a practitioner at the Centers for Spiritual Living Eugene. And now might be a good time to make sure that all of your devices are on silent. And maybe the TV is off, unless you're watching me through the TV, which is like so cool. Sorry, inner child, freak out. It's a good time to set all that stuff aside. The laundry will wait. There'll always be dishes. But let's just set all of that aside right now. And we can also set aside all of the drama. So now if you'll go with me, I'm sitting. So if you're sitting, I invite you to allow the chair or the couch or whatever's holding you to hold you as God is holding you. As you are the God that is holding you. And if you are welcome to close your eyes or have a downward gaze. Breathe into the now. I breathe into the is. I breathe into love. There's only one life. One complete experience through all things. That is God now. God is the cosmic flow of conscious giving, of time and talent, and the conscious receiving of love and gratitude. Every particle is this God. And when I speak these words, I speak the words of God. I am God waiting to know itself. And I know and affirm this, that God is knowing themselves as I speak these words through my actions and my conviction that I am the God speaking for God. I know and affirm that anyone who hears my voice, who hears this live stream or watches it later, knows the rest of peace. The time of entering into the darkness to embrace the light. We come together in this moment, in this community, as one, to share this one, to participate in this one. One could ask, how does one share oneness when oneness is all there is? The knowing of oneness, the love in oneness, the belief or changed belief around oneness, the sacred connection to the self, to my peers, to your peers, to our community, to the sacred I am. And that big whole thing is still the same oneness that I am right now. I'll pause for a moment to consider, to meditate on oneness. And yet I experience humanity, the condition of humanity, the collective of humanity, and the consciousness of humanity. It tries to separate me. It tries to separate. It tries to show up as fear of scarcity, of poverty, of difference. I release all those things because I know that there is only oneness. I remain in oneness in my humanity. I am the idea waiting to unfold. I am the knowing of the idea. I am the idea, and I'm the manifestation of the idea. And for this, I am so grateful. With every fiber of my being, every action I take, complete gratitude to know that I am in this oneness, even in humanity, and especially in humanity. I'm completely grateful. I am the one that God chose to live out this experience. I'm the one that God chose to know itself. And I release all of this into the cosmic goo that is. I completely set it all free. And I'm lighter and freer and happier to know that it is already done. And say with me, if you will, and so it is. Please feel free to wiggle your toes, to feel the air on your skin, to not take the world so heavily, and know that it can be lightened in love. Such a beautiful time. Thank you so much for the opportunity to let me lead the meditation. What a great way to remember that we are the oneness. I am the oneness.
Good morning. How is guys? It's just that close and then the camera came on. So, hey. Good to see you. Thank you for being here today. My name is Linda Finley. I'm with the Center for Spiritual Living Eugene, and we are delighted to have you as part of our today. I'm going to move this just a little. We are a spiritual community, and our mission has been for many years now to inspire minds and hearts and empower lives. And we are doing this work so that we might expand the idea that spiritually empowered people live richer and fuller lives. The whole purpose of us living these lives is to live them with as much fullness, as much rich, much love as we possibly can. And we do that when we are connected to one another and connected to the source energy. I really want to thank Radiant Gains for that exhortation this morning. It was absolutely lovely. And as she said, the ideas of lack and limitation and fear can come creeping up on, and they'd like with us. And our role is we are always connected to the one, and there's no room for lack, there's no limitation, there's no fear in our lives. We have a statement known as the Declaration of Principles that Dr. Ernst, our founder, wrote almost 100 years ago, and we've been sharing a little bit each week. It managed out to 13, so that means once a quarter where we're seeing each go through the thing. We're now on number 10. We're nearing the end of the fourth quarter. And this one is on spiritual healing. We believe in the spiritual healing power of the mind. Now that healing can apply to our bodies, that healing can apply to our emotions, that healing can apply to any areas of our lives. When we decide that wholeness is who we are, that oneness is who we are. When we focus more on where we would be, where we fear, greater things happen, and that wholeness reveals itself. And I want to remind everybody that is really the essence teaching is all about. I'd like now to invite Radiant Gains back, our practitioner, to do an opening treatment to set the tone for today's service. So whenever we can bring Radiant up, we are ready for her. We don't appear to be bringing her up yet, so I'm going to just kind of. They seem to be having some technical things. They just called the room, and I'm here, and it would be good to have Radiant here. And I don't know, they're not aware of what's happening, or. It's always an adventure every week.
Good morning, my beloveds. I am so excited to be here. I hope that you can hear me well. And just virtually, I'm just sending you all a big hug. I love you so much, and I miss you. So if you'll join me for a moment, I'll open this service up with a treatment, which means that I'm just going to affirm the greatness that we are in this moment now. So there is only one life, one entire idea of collective ideas that is all God right now. And as God is all these ideas, I'm one of the ideas too, having many ideas of my own. And God is having many ideas through me. And I speak all of these ideas into action. I know and affirm that anyone who can hear my voice will know this too, that we reside in a moment of peace, that we have complete clarity in peace, that we come together to celebrate the oneness that we are, virtually and together in any way we can, knowing that all are safe and all are loved, experiencing love in ways they never even thought, and remembering who we are as a collective, who we are as a community, together. In complete gratitude to know that this is so, to know that we are one and that we love in loving ways more than we ever thought before. I release this into the cosmos. I set it free and know that it is already done because I spoke these words and I own it with my heart. And if you'll say with me, please, and so it is. This is just such a wonderful opportunity to know that there is oneness when we have humanity show up, that we can choose to rethink this. We can choose a different idea and just pause for a moment to be excited to know this in the silence of what is.
Okay. Life is an adventure or nothing at all. I want to let everybody know that. And what I want to do right now is do an entire shout out to the crew that comes here week after week and puts out their energy and their time. And then we have equipment glitches, and then we have internet glitches, and these people are doing amazing work. I am just beyond thrilled with John and Kevin and Mike and Dale and Kathy and Liz and Jeannie and everybody. Mike, yeah, I said Mike. We are all here for you. There's all these people making sure that you get to be with us Sunday morning. And so thank you for that. And I also want to thank Nancy Fisher for the beautiful altar that she put together for us. It's just, she sneaks in. It's like she's like an elf each month, and she sneaks in. I come in one day and there's nothing here, and I come in the next day and this fabulous thing is done. And I told her this morning, I texted her, I said, I came in, I turned on the lights, and I turned around and I saw this, and in the back of my head, the Charlie Brown Christmas special, and the little voice is going, Christmas time is here, was singing in the back of my head. Because it's just, yeah, it's all is right with the world. And so no matter what goes on with the cameras, with the sound, we've got this, and it's good. And I'm so grateful you're here. And we have a new affirmation. It's December, and so we have a new affirmation. And so I'm going to ask if they can get the affirmation up on the screen. And then I will read it through once, and we will read it together. So first, just kind of let yourself soak this in as I speak it, and then we'll say it together. God in me, as me, is me. Every part of me makes me the whole person I am. I embrace my light and my shadow and claim my highest good. So let's just take a deep breath and say that together. God in me, as me, is me. Every part of me makes me the whole person I am. I embrace my light and my shadow and claim my highest good. Ah, speaking of highest good, we have so many beautiful musicians in our community, and we are blessed today to have two very special songs from one very special individual, our beloved Marty Chilla. I believe we've got the recording set up, or he's standing in the wings in case we have to go live. Either way, we're good. But if we can bring on Marty now, that would be awesome. It's time for Marty. Kathy, it's time for Marty.
It is. Give me a moment.
Okay. So we're Kathy's working on it there. You can see her working in the office, getting it all going, and Jeannie Manor is working on learning this. We're going to be talking about the shadow today, which is kind of a intriguing thing about the holiday, and people have a lot of misconceptions about the shadow. I'm 4 weeks into my 6-week class teaching the shadow, and boy, are there misconceptions about what the shadow is in our lives. And so I'm eager to be able to give this talk today. And here comes Marty. Yay.
When I sing your name to the place from where you came, you're like a spark within the flame. Fireflies and diamond rings, crystal streams, angel wings. You are all the shiny things. You are all the shiny things. You are the shine in my eyes, so divine. Realizing you are the shine in my eyes, so divine. Realizing you are the shine in my eyes, so divine. Realize the light dancing in my soul is a reflection of you. The light dancing in my soul is the mirror image of you. Well, you shine your light inside the clay. You shine all night, you shine all day. When I walk, you light the way. I am one and you are too. Forever now and shining through. You shine in me, I shine in you. You're the light that's in my eyes. When you shine on me, it's no surprise. I feel myself begin to rise. Feel myself begin to rise. You are the shine in my eyes, so divine. Realizing you are the shine in my eyes, so divine. Realizing you are the shine in my eyes, so divine. Realize the light dancing in my soul is a reflection of you. The light dancing in my soul is the mirror image of you. Mirror image of you.
Thank you, Marty. Fabulous. I was a little upbeat for beginning going into it's because the song he's singing at the end always makes me cry. And so we're doing it at the end rather than the beginning, so I don't start the service in tears, you know, sobbing at you. So thank you, Marty Chilla. Thank you, Radiant Games. Thank you, crew. We are in the final month of 2020. We are in the final end of our 2020 spiritual vision year. And this month, excuse me, the overarching theme for the month of December is celebrating divine truth. And we've had a pretty interesting year, I think you could probably say. And yet divine truth shines through all of this. Celebrating divine truth is about learning to look past the current conditions and align our consciousness with the divine pattern of wholeness. There is wholeness at the center of everything. There is wholeness at the center of all that is, and every one of us partakes of that wholeness. And then we get to choose how to live, and that's where we create conditions that look messy and a little bit yucky. And yet, it's still all part of the divine in operation. I found a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson in last month's Science of Mind magazine. And by the way, if you're not subscribing to it, I wish you would. And if you don't have a copy, we have them here in the office. You can come in Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday between 10 and 4. Pick one up. Commercial break is over now. Emerson talked about the oneness, the unity of the universal and the particular. Emerson said, there is no individual anything separated from the universal. Think about that. There is no individual anything separate from all that is. There is all that is, and there is nothing outside of all that is. All that is contained in all that is. Every individualization has a universality. So everything in me, there is a universal reflection of it in the world. If I look at my world and I see stuff that looks uncomfortable to me, I need to look in myself to see where that lives. One of my fellow ministers a couple of weeks ago wrote a blog about where am I not conceding things? What is it that I am not conceding? What is it that I'm still clinging to? I can't dislike it in anything or anyone else if I have it in myself. I need to learn from it in myself first. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, is how we learn from those parts of ourselves that we're not real happy. Another friend of mine was telling me about a class they're taking with Matthew Fox and Mirabai Starr. And I wished I had heard about it because I would love to be taking it. It sounds like it would be absolutely awesome. And the Matthew Fox quote is, a pandemic is a terrible thing to waste. A pandemic is a terrible thing to waste. Now that sounds a little bit odd, you might say. What, but a pandemic has given us the chance to suspend reality. Not just for an instant, but for quite a while. Things that we just took for granted, like being able to come together on a Sunday, aren't happening. Things that we took for granted, like being able to go to the movies, aren't happening. Going out to eat, Or you can pick it up and take it home, but you can't go out to a restaurant. A suspension of reality allows us to imagine a new reality. And we spend a whole lot of time wanting to go back to an old reality, wanting to go back to something that was, wanting to go back to how it used to be. But the bottom line is, how it used to be is it used to be. And how it will be is yet to be developed. And we're here to do that. That's your job, should you choose to accept it, is to plan the future, to see where we're going. So that brings us to welcoming the shadow. And boy, there are so many misconceptions. We were talking before the service, and somebody said, "Oh my gosh, that's the ugly, horrible part of myself that I've got to kill." And it's like, no, 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 no. The shadow is your good traits carried to extreme, to the point where, you know, instead of just being tidy, you become obsessive. Instead of being caring, you become compulsive. But your shadow is not a bad thing. It is a coping mechanism. It is an idea that has developed in your life, in your story, that has a message for you. There's a fellow by the name of Jacob Liberman who's written a few books, and in it there's this one, what we call our shadow is nothing more than an aspect of our nature waiting to be embraced and reclaimed. So instead of pushing our shadow away and trying to hide it and bury it, Debbie Ford has a movie wherein there's a gal, you know, with a beach ball. That's her shadow, and she's trying to hold it under the water and look cool. Well, you know, the whole time you're trying to hold it under the water, you're not looking very cool because you're shifting and trying to hold it. And that's how we live our lives with our shadow. And then suddenly it'll explode in a very unattractive way because we didn't bother to listen to it, didn't bother to learn from it. And there are places in our individual and collective year of 2020, that experience, which have, I'm willing to say, given greater life to both our individual and our collective as a nation, as a world shadow. We are bringing to the surface all of those things that are really ready to be healed, really ready to be learned from, really ready to be embraced. It sounds odd, but the shadow makes us human. The shadow is what gives us texture. When I was an art major, one of the things we learned is the art of chiaroscuro, which is the art of bringing the shades in, making what is a two-dimensional object look three-dimensional. So you take a circle, and it's just a round circle, and it's just a circle on the page, and it really is just there. But when you begin applying tones of shadow to it, it takes on the appearance of a fully orbed three-dimensional object. And it becomes alive to us. And the shadow is what makes us alive. Liz Callahan, in one of the first shadow classes that I taught, pointed out in the movie Peter Pan, in the story Peter Pan, the reason Peter Pan is seeking help from a human child is because the Lost Boys have stolen his shadow. And he needs to recover the shadow in order to be whole. Without his shadow, he has no substance. And that's something we really need to be aware of. And the less the shadow is incorporated into our life consciously, surprise, surprise, the darker and denser it gets. The shadow is not ugly in and of itself. It's just a shadow. Where the light falls, the shadow is. But when we don't listen to it, when we don't learn from it, when we don't hear what it has to tell us, it becomes very much like a 3-year-old. Going for Mom. 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 To mommy, 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 mommy. I'm sure you've never heard that. But that's what our shadow does. Because we're not listening to it. And all it wants is to be listened to. And it doesn't want to be told to sit down, shut up, and be quiet, because I'm your mother and I said so. That's why. What it wants to be is to be heard. It wants to feel like it's connected. It wants to be known. I'm still reading right at the end of Rob Bell's Everything is Spiritual, and I'm so immersed in his work with quantum physics and the idea that in the beginning there are particles, and particles join together to become atoms. And then a few million years down the road, atoms come together to become molecules. And then molecules play in their little community for a while. And then they start joining with other molecules to become cells. And then cells start forming to become bodies. In the beginning, there was light and energy. And it exploded into the world, and its first action was to find something to join to. And then it joined, and then it joined, and then it joined. And then beings become communities, become families, become nations. It is our nature to seek out one another and to be seen. And yet we don't acknowledge that part of us that really needs to be part of us and has been pushed away, pushed down, rejected, denied. Because it isn't as pretty as we'd like it to be. It isn't as sweet as we wish it was. A shadow is produced when an object blocks light. There is light, here I am, creates a shadow. Only when we are transparent and in alignment with the source of light, as when the sun is directly overhead, does the shadow disappear. So we need to be in alignment with spirit. We need to be in alignment with all that we are. And we need to embrace all those aspects of ourselves, because what we will discover is those aspects are not bad things. They're lonely. They need to be heard. They need to be felt. They need to be understood. They need to be listened to. And we all have shadows. Some of them are big, some of them are small, but we all have a whole closet full of shadows. Some of us, have been known to rent storage units for some of my shadows. I've got so many of them sometimes. So, but by facing them and by embracing them, we discover they are not as big and ugly as we thought they were. It's like the Rumi poem, The Guest House. Welcome these in. Welcome everything in, because it has been sent from beyond as a help, with a message. So where is my shadow? Well, when I find myself getting defensive. What? You said what? No, that didn't happen. No. When I find myself getting defensive, that's my shadow is revealing itself. Am I easily triggered or upset? That's a sign that my shadow is asking to be heard and asking me to listen. It's trying to reach me. It's ding, ding, ding. Are you there? So I'm going to suggest that the next time I offer the shadow class sometime this spring, that you possibly might consider, it would be a cool thing to do. We're doing it online right now, and it's working really, really well. But I learn every time I teach the class. So it's not something, oh, I took it once, I don't need that anymore. Because each time we go to a new level, we go to a deeper layer of. But what I would like this month as we focus on welcoming the shadow today, was we focus for the whole month on celebrating divine truth. As we look past the conditions that are around us that cause us to point and make blame, to the truth of spirit that's within everything, to the deep connection that Radiant spoke about in her meditation, to the shine that Marty talked about, the light shining. As we look at this year and as we move through this month, this final month of December, and we remember God in me, as me, is me. What do I choose to take into next year? What do I choose to build on? And what do I choose to release, like an old skin, letting go, taking off the old so that I can step into the new? I would like us to spend this month just kind of focusing on, what do I want to release? And what am I ready to integrate? As we come to the end of 2021 or 2020 and move into 2021. You see, the thing that we forget when we're in a liminal space where we're not sure how things are going and should be going, and we want them to go, we always are choosing. Every moment of every day, I am choosing. Am I choosing to tell an old story and bring in an old pain so that I can prove what a struggle life has been? Am I, in essence, wasting the pandemic? Or am I taking time to imagine what could be? To imagine how, if I really connected to my source and operated from that space, how would my connection go with others? What could we do together? What new story can we tell? We get to choose. That's the whole basis of this. We're all connected. We're all one family. And we get to choose. What do I integrate? What do I release? What do I integrate? What do I release? Bless you for being with us today. Thank you. So it is. So I would like to invite Radiant back to do. There she is. Hello, cutie pie.
I'm back.
She's going to bless the offering for us, and then Marty's going to sing the song that's going to make me cry. So.
Aw. Hello, I'm back. So, my first thought is, I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has his being. I am the place where God shows up, which is the Eddie Watkins Jr. Shout out to Eddie. Woohoo! Which makes me think today about where I'm spending my money is like where I'm placing my consciousness. So, I find that it brings a great amount of joy into my heart to share my prosperity with our center and know that it goes to help such a great cause. And there are many ways that you can share, and it's wonderful. So thank you for that. And now I'll pray. So there is only one life, the one complete allness in this experience now. And I know that as God is all there is, I too am God, and I speak these words of God into action. I know that prosperity is the conscious flow of living in the now, of giving and receiving with a joyful heart, because I am in so much joy when I'm in my community. And my joy overflows into my community, creating more joy for more people who I can't even conceive. So my prosperity, my conscious giving flow is a gratitude, incomplete gratitude. Every dollar that I spend is, I am grateful for the experience that I'm having. And every dollar I receive is someone telling me they're grateful for the experience they're having. So I'm completely grateful to have all these experiences and to know that everything is so easily obtained and so easily given. And so grateful to be a part of all of this with all of the people who can hear my voice now. And I release this into the consciousness. I completely set it free. And I know this to be true. And say with me, and so it is.
Someday, like I stand before you now, I will rise into the sun. And when my night turns to day, I will shine on everyone. It'll be a sweet ride home. Sweet ride home. When it's time to go, I am a drop of dew, and I will fall into the earth. And when I fall, I will bloom. I will bloom into another the bird. You'll be a sweet ride home. Sweet ride home. When it's time to go. My friends, we are made from the stars, from the light and the mystery. And we will change someday, like a river when it joins the sea. You'll be a sweet ride home. Sweet ride home. When it's time to go, you'll be a sweet ride home. Sweet ride home. When it's time to go.
Marty Chilla, Marty Chilla, Marty Chilla. What a beautiful soul who could write a song such as that. And by the way, that's going to be, 35 years from now when I die. That's my memorial. So just everybody here remember that, all right? Okay. So it's time for announcements. I know you've all been eagerly waiting for the announcements, and I don't know that we have a whole lot of stuff, but we'll plow through them here. It's the first Sunday of the month. It's birthday Sunday. So I'm going to imagine all of you out there who have December birthdays, if you would please stand, I'm going to sing you happy birthday. We're all going to sing you happy birthday together. So, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, everybody. Happy birthday to you. Lordy, we had 4-part harmony there. Yay, cool. So wishing you a beautiful, wondrous birthday. I'm not going to sing the second verse, so we can just go on from there, but God is blessing you right now. So after the service today, in just a couple of minutes, there will be a hangout on Zoom. The link is there in this slide. I think they've also put it in the chat, and it is on our Facebook group. So you can go there and find the link to the after service chat. And just come hang out and talk with people. It's time to fill out your annual giving intention form. There's a link to it in our newsletter. Just go ahead and click on that if you haven't updated it this year and get it updated. And if your situation has changed, please just go ahead and adjust your if you signed up and your income has decreased or increased and you want to give less or more, just go ahead and put that in there, and that's fine. There's no issue with that. The Holiday Joy fundraiser, we are coming to the end. I believe they need to have the gifts by tomorrow, and there's probably a tiny bit of fudge room with that. So if you have any interest in that, call the office tomorrow, talk to Susan, or get last week's newsletter and click on the link and find the list of people that we still have to give gifts for. Thursdays at 7:30 to 8 a.m. there's a forgiveness meditation with Angela, and the link is in the newsletter. So if you're interested in learning the concept of Ho'oponopono and doing forgiveness work, good thing to do at the end of the year. Go to the newsletter, click on that link, and you can join that. This Sunday we had 2 in the men's group, which is double what we had last month. So I'm trusting that maybe next month we'll have 4 in the men's group. It's growing by leaps and hops, maybe not bounds, but anyway, it is on Zoom, and the link is sent out so in the newsletter. So if you're a guy and you just would like other guys to talk to right now, sign up for that. Angela Alcantar's workshop, The Joy of Creating, is going to be on Zoom on the 12th of December. That is this Saturday from 9 to 10:30 in the morning. So if you'd like more information about that, check the newsletter again, and also check on our Facebook group. And there's information for how to get to that. Angela does great stuff. You don't have to have experience to be creative. So there's that. And Tuesday, December 31st, the World Peace Meditation, we're going to join through a CSL, a Center for Spiritual Living link. We won't be meeting live this year. We'll be doing it online, but you can still, that way you don't have to get out of bed to come and do it. So we'll get information on that. And I'm working on a solstice thing. Donna Michael created a really cool Taizé service that is available, and I'm looking at possibly putting that out. So there'll be more news on that later as well. And Saturdays, from 4:30 to 6:30, starting in January through April, Angela's going to do another book study with me and white supremacy. If you have not done one yet, and even if you have and you'd like to go a little deeper with it, that's an excellent book study to be part of. There's no fee for that. They don't want anybody making money off the book. Just they want people to learn. Isn't that what we all want? It's just if we could all just learn to love each other a little bit, you know. I'd be okay with that. So that is it for this week. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for all that you do and all that you are, and know that you are loved. And blessed be.